From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Anchors, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. It is Wednesday, and we are 2 days away from the opening of 2022. So, pretty much, if you got people you want to say something to, or if you want to start with a clean slate and things like that, today is a great day to start putting that together and everything, and really go ahead and mash for your dreams. If you're gonna make a New Year's resolution, you better make sure you follow through with it this year as well, too. You're too old to keep promising yourself things and not following through. All right, so here we are. Big sports day today. Also, quick NFL news just coming in right now. Jimmy G is could be a go Sunday. So my whole little rant yesterday about the season and everything like that, Jimmy G is actually not out for the rest of the season. I think possibly they'll probably let him sit out this Sunday because it's going to be the Texans. And then, get him ready for the playoffs and everything. But people have to understand the Niners are still playing for a playoff spot. They are not solidified in that regard at all. They're 8-7. They could drop the next 2 games and wind up falling out of the playoffs. So they got to go ahead and clean it up. This weekend is probably the weekend to go ahead and get the big win here to advance to even get into the playoffs, because they do play the Rams the final week of the season, and the Rams will be up for it because they will be playing for the division. So let's go ahead. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we get into NFL Bet Exchange tomorrow with Jeff. But right now, let's go ahead and jump into some boxing. Boxing is starting off the year the right way, in my opinion. We got a all heavyweight card that's going to be on Fox pay-per-view, and then the after card, instead of it being a prelim, there's going to be fights afterwards that feature a guy that I'm very high on right now named Frank Martin, and that fight is actually going to be on FS1 or Fox. I can't really remember exactly what network it's going to be on, but it's going to be on one of the Fox channels, either the local Fox or will be on cable on FS1. But regardless, you guys do need to tune in and watch Frank Martin in that fight. But let's go ahead and get into the card. Now, this is a good-looking card. Now, don't start talking your little trash about who the headliner is. We all know that King Kong ain't got nothing on me. Ortiz is proven. He was seen as one of the top heavyweights for years. He was ducked by many of the heavyweights for years. It was the PEDs, and then it was his age, and then it was this, it was that, da-da-da-da-da. He's one of the most skilled heavyweights that you'll see. I think that he is a little bit past his prime a little bit, but he's still a really good boxer. So when you know how to box really well, it takes a while for them to remove you from the game. And you know what he's fighting for. He has a family and everything that he's trying to, he's trying to make sure that everything is good for his daughter moving forward and everything like that. And so if they keep offering nice paydays, you'll keep collecting them, right? So, Ortiz has that in his in his resume and everything like that. But we know that he's a top 10 heavyweight. A lot of people do love to watch Ortiz fight as well too. So that's why he is a headliner for this, because he has already been a headliner in a fight before with 2 fights with Deontay Wilder. Now, Charles Martin is a guy that is very overlooked. He's a very skillful heavyweight, in my opinion. And everybody knows that he did used to be the IBF champion as well, too. It was short-lived. It wasn't anything that was a big deal or anything. I think the belt was actually even handed to him as well, too. But, he fought Anthony Joshua. He was a young fighter at that time. He really was out of his element at that time as well, too. And he got beat. But today, if you put Charles Martin in the ring with Anthony Joshua, he'll have a pretty good opportunity to go toe to toe with Anthony Joshua, a guy that we've seen a lot of different flaws on over his last over his last 2 out of 3 fights, or 2 out of his last 4 fights where they were both losses. So you look at this situation, you tell yourself that Ortiz versus Martin is a good fight. It's a good eliminator because it is the IBF eliminator as well too. So this means this falls up under Usyk as getting a mandatory, just in case that they push back the Anthony Joshua fight. But I would think that the Anthony Joshua Usyk fight would be getting booked sometime for the first quarter. So then there can be a big summer heavyweight fight as well too, and I think that one of these guys will be the lucky winner here to move forward in that regard. So Ortiz versus Martin is a very intriguing fight, and I think what happens here is that the winner future is going to be a very, very bright, and the loser will probably have to go to the back of the line, because the heavyweight division is very crowded, but it's only so top heavy talented. You know what I mean? I think that when you really look at it and you say elite heavyweights, I think possibly can only say one, and that's Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? And don't think that I'm one of these Tyson Fury, lovers or anything like that. I just had to keep it real. You know what I mean? We all know that he got the skills to pay the bills. He got the talk. He got the talk to back it up. And, pretty much, right now he is the toughest out when it comes to heavyweight boxing. He's not. Can he be beat? Yes, but it's up to the opponent to take the fight to him, in my opinion. But this is a guy that I feel is being the most overlooked out of everybody when it comes to the heavyweight division, and that's going to be Frank Sanchez, the Cuban Flash. This guy, it throws hands like a middleweight, moves, it got feet light like a lightweight, and then packs the punch like a stone cold hard killer. You know what I mean? He's not a Mike Tyson put you out with one punch type of guy, but he's a guy who's very crafty, and he's a good at making you miss as well too, and countering as well too. He absolutely dominated F.A. Jagba, who was seen as, like, I called him the Nigerian Drago when we had our first interview. And I thought that this guy was pretty much, if he dies, he dies type of boxer. Thing is, though, F.A. is still a very, very statuesque boxer. He's very good. He got a lot of power, but the thing is, though, he does have a questionable chin, and he does have a questionable head, and he's kind of questionable when the head movement happens. Sometimes guys do like to get hit, so then they can fire back some big fire, right? So, it didn't work in that fight against Frank Sanchez, and Frank Sanchez wound up getting himself a very thorough, very impressive win. And I know that made the heavyweights say to themselves, well, we're going to probably have to make this guy wait a little bit longer, after that one, because a lot of people thought that FA was actually going to knock Frank out, and that didn't happen. Frank also showed that he has a hell of a chin as well, too. But you got to hit him first as well. So, and then also, just quick reminder, Carlos Negron is not going to be fighting Frank Sanchez Saturday. He's been removed from the card because of testing positive for COVID. So he's not going to be on this card. Now, Jonathan Rice, Michael Coffey, they're in their second fight. And that first fight was fireworks. And Jonathan Rice was seen was the A side to this, and he's the guy on the up and up. Michael Coffey is a guy who's kind of on the up and up as well too. So they're really like the same type of boxer, but this is a really good scrap, and hopefully we can get a winner this time around in this one. And I think that the winner will move on to greener pastures, probably getting themselves an eliminator fight or something like that down the road. But that should be good too. And then we got the old vet Gerald Washington, former USC Trojan, going against Ali Iran Demirazin. And he's going to be kicking off that pay-per-view card Saturday as well, too. This should be a really good fight. I think Gerald Washington wants to get right after what happened with in the Charles Martin fight, because Charles Martin did beat Gerald Washington. So I think when you go into this one, you have a lot confidence in Gerald Washington as you go into this fight. So it should be pretty good, but Ali is damn good himself as well too. This is a very good matchmaking card right here. So expect some upsets here, expect some big moments here as well too, and get ready to know these heavyweights as well too. It's always great to start off the year with a big heavyweight card because that is absolutely my favorite division in boxing. Only reason why I can't cover it as much is because the heavyweight division is kind of stuck in flux. We have guys that are champions, but they're cherry picking on who they want to fight in reality. So, we got to kind of wait. But to be honest with you, you can't avoid the best fights at heavyweight. So if you're the best of the best and somebody else they say somebody else is the best of the best, you have to fight each other. And I think over the last two to 3 years, we have really been I think that we've been blessed with the Fury Wilder fights, and Andy Ruiz being a big upset, a big upset champ and things of that nature, and Usyk. But all in all, I still think that the heavyweight champs have not fought the best of the best in the division. To be honest with you, they fought guys that are good, decorated, but they might be 37, 38 years old. It might be a little bit past their time already. I'm saying that I would love to see this year where these heavyweight champs give these guys who are some hard rocking heavyweights as well too, an opportunity to get a chance to be a champion. You know what I mean? Stop protecting your belt so much, bro. You can't do this forever. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But I am excited for Saturday. And the fighter to look out for on Saturday night is going to be Frank the Cuban Flash Sanchez. And make sure you look for his sponsor gear as well, too. I have something to do with that as well. So thank you for that one. And we move forward to our next topic in hand. And it's going to be about the Big East. The Big East is, I call the Big East right now. Which conference is the deepest in college basketball? I would say right now the Big East. The Big East has absolutely. You can kind of cancel out two teams though. Georgetown hasn't been good. I'll be honest with you, and this is somebody that actually follows Georgetown fairly extensively. They haven't been good. All right, let's just be honest about that part and get that out of the way. But everybody else has been really good. And I say this because Georgetown's having issues with teams that they're not supposed to have issues with. Now you have Providence team that's 11-1, Creighton, and you have Xavier 11-2, Connecticut's 10-3. Now this is kind of funny because you have a 9-1 DePaul team and a 9-1 Seton Hall team. Now you say to yourself, Villanova, but Villanova is 1-1 in conference right now, and they're 8-4 on the season. So they've had to play a tough schedule to start the year. So they're going to be better later. You know what I mean? You don't worry about Villanova right now. St. John's kind of surprising right now. They're 8-3, but most of those wins have occurred at home. The only true road game that they lost. And then you have 8-5 Marquette. That's impressive because they weren't supposed to be that good this year. And as I said before, even though they're 6-5, they still have a winning record, and that's Georgetown. So pretty much right now, Georgetown is in the basement, but Georgetown is one of 5 teams that hasn't even played haven't even opened up their conference play yet. So, today is a big day. You have Providence going against Xavier. That's a monster matchup right there. Actually, Providence going against Seton Hall. Let me take that back. Very sorry about that. And that's going to be a huge game today. Then you got DePaul going against Butler. Butler on the season right now is 7-4. They've actually gotten better as well, too, because they started off the season struggling, not looking too good, but they've been good as of late. So I like what the Big East is setting up to, and I think that this will wind up being our most competitive conference when it comes to the NCAA tournament this year. I say this because when it was time for the Big East teams to play against the top tier teams in college basketball, they held their own, if not won the game. And I just start off with what Seton Hall did to open up the year. Seton Hall got a monster win against a top 5 team, and they looked really good doing it as well too. Then you had some good wins you had a good win for Georgetown over Syracuse, who's actually started to pick up their pace a little bit more as well too. Then you had Villanova get a good win over Texas once again. That was a pretty good game for them. And then, you got Xavier, who opened up the season with a monster win over Ohio State. So, this is some good. This is good. This is good, to be honest with you. So I like what they're shaping up to be in the Big East, and I look forward to a great season. And I'm over here right now trying to put it together so I can link up with my man, the Don of Cape Cod, Jeff Dawson, so we can take part in the Big East tournament all week long. So it is what it is. All right, so there it is with that. We move forward to our next topic in hand, and that's going to be the Nets. The Nets trio is back. They are about to be back, and I say back, and they're back. They really haven't played that many games together, but right now, that doesn't matter. They just need to get back together at this point, and you really want that to happen right now if you're a big NBA fan. Now, when you look at the Nets have right now with this season right here, the Nets have been still good. They're still one of the top teams in the East. They are the top team in the East by 2 games, 23-9. They're exactly where you would expect them to be, without Kyrie. And even with Kyrie, to be honest with you, because Kyrie still would have missed like at least 15 games out the 32 that they played, because he has a bum ankle, bum arm, a lot of bum things going on with his body. And you already had Harden missed time because of protocols. You had Durant missed time because of protocols as well too. And so pretty much you would have had guys missing time all season long with the Nets. But they are right where they need to be with the return of Kyrie. And I know that it's only going to be part-time for now. But from what I'm hearing, that they're going to lift that mandate very soon in New York City. So, in Brooklyn, I mean. So pretty much because I know Brooklyn has different rules from the rest of New York City and everything like that. So, pretty much Brooklyn comes in here, and Brooklyn's ready to take the East. That's all I can say. Because, you got Chicago sitting behind you, Milwaukee sitting behind you, you got Miami sitting behind you, you got Cleveland here, you got Philly still here, division rival. And then, you know what? You look at the play-ins, that you don't even have to worry about that, because if you're able to draw any of these 4 teams right here, you'll beat them. Even though I think that the Knicks would be the one that would give the Nets the most problems in a 7-game series in the first round when I'm looking at this group. But the rest of them, the Knicks and the Celtics to be exact, but Charlotte and Washington, that shouldn't be a problem right there, to be honest with you. But all in all, Brooklyn is looking really good moving forward into the season, and they are getting healthy right at the right time. And LaMarcus Aldridge is back as well too, and he's playing great basketball too. So when you look at the stats, you tell yourself that it's right on time. This team is 5th when it comes to points scored, 6th in field goal percentage. They're 3rd at the free throw line as well too. 5th in assists, and they also are 6th in block shots. You got Durant averaging almost 30 points a game. Harden's picking up the pace a little bit in his scoring. He's almost getting a triple-double, averaging 22, 8, and almost 10 assists a game. So pretty much, they are on it, and they have 5 double-digit scores as well. And then they got great contributions coming from their bench. They're getting, when you look at the bench is giving them good time and good output, to be honest, to be dead honest with you. You know what I mean? You got a few guys in this group that are scoring. They're not double digits, but they're scoring enough points to keep things going. Everybody is contributing on this team. Okay, so the Nets are in a good place. That's all I can say is Brooklyn, we go hard. And that's it, and that's all. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and take us a quick break, and when I get back, we're going to go ahead and talk though we're going to go ahead and talk Lakers, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the NBA Wednesday night, and then we'll go ahead and get into Talking Tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, state of the Lakers. Let's go ahead and get into last night. Last night was a very good bounce back situation for the Lakers last night. The Lakers are now sitting in the 7th seed in the playoffs when you look at things moving forward. So if they were to start the playoffs today, they will have a play-in with San Antonio, and then we'll wait for the winner of the Dallas and Minnesota game, and try to get the winner from that. But they're only a half a game back from the Clippers, okay? The Clippers are 17-17. The Lakers are 17-18. So everybody in the war of Clippers and Lakers, it doesn't really matter. Neither one of the teams are that good at this moment. So when you look at it, the West is very top-heavy. Warriors, Suns, Jazz, all those teams are very good. Then you have Memphis, surprise, 21-14, and guess who? And that's who the Lakers play tonight. Lakers are 1-1 on the season against Memphis, to be exact. And when I talk about this game, you have this note: Lakers won the first game, 112-118 at Staples. Well, I mean, at the house formerly known as Staples, Crypto now, on October 24th, the Lakers won that game by 3, 121-118. But I will tell you this, Memphis did cover that day. Now, Memphis is good on the spread against the Lakers. They're 2-0, but they're 1-1 straight up. Now, the Grizzlies, a few weeks ago, they, on the 9th of December of this month, they went ahead and they beat the Lakers 108-95 in Memphis. So they have the rematch tonight. And, this kind of started a tailspin for the Lakers as well, too. The Lakers just had a 5-game losing streak snap last night as well, too, with that good win over the Rockets. And also LeBron and Westbrook both had a triple-double in that game. LeBron literally went on an 8-0 run by himself at the end of the night. And Russ was really good last night. And that's why I keep saying these are guys that I will go to, that I said that if I'm a coach and I gotta have, and you tell me that I got Russell Westbrook with me, and I gotta have him when it's time to go to war. So when the game really, really, really matters, that's when that's when you can really say, okay, that's when you can judge Westbrook. But I think that you have to kind of have this attitude that says that give him a shot, give him a chance. You know what I mean? Because he's not the whole problem. He scores 24 points last night, has 12 rebounds, 10 assists. LeBron has 32 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. Great game. But also a really good game from Carmelo Anthony as well, too. Carmelo had 24 points, and he also had 9 rebounds last night and 2 block shots. Now, I look at the next player that did very well, who was the second best scorer of the night for the Lakers, and that was Malik Monk, who actually got a lot of minutes last night. He played 39 minutes and was able to get 25 points. He went 3 of 7 from the three-point line. That's exactly what the Lakers signed him to do. And he also was perfect from the free throw line and was a plus 11 on pluses and minuses last night as well, too. So this worked out very well. You know, the Lakers pretty much had 4 players contribute with Avery Bradley, and then the other 3 just played really good defense. Now, Collison's more of a you're trying to get your win back type of situation. Stanley Johnson played great defense last night. Had 9 points last night, 5 rebounds as well too. Now, he didn't hit any threes, but we didn't sign him up for that. Now, one thing though that you like about Johnson is that he plays defense, and that's exactly what he did last night. That's why he was able to get heavy minutes last night as well too, 31 minutes to be exact. So that's good. When you get guys in there for good reasons of why they're getting a good amount of playing time. Now, when it comes to the Lakers numbers in the month of December, they're 4-8 straight up. And, you know, you have to factor in the 5-game losing streak because they had a 3-game losing streak followed by a 3-game winning streak followed by a 5-game losing streak. So that all in all, the Lakers in that stretch in time went 3-5, right? But still, you know, it was kind of topsy-turvy, fluctuated a little bit. But since that point right now, they're 4-5, right? So pretty much, you know, it's not good, but all in all, you look at what I'm telling you right now. The Lakers month has just been wow. You know what I mean? Because I just said it. You know, you got a team that right now they're 4-8, and if they just lost the last 5 out of 6, then won the first 3 out of 4, you see what type of month they've had? Just absolutely messy. That's all it is, man. To be honest with you, you know. So it is what it is at the end of the day. The Lakers. That's straight up. Now, against the spread, they're 5-7. And when it comes to the over and under, they've went under in 7 out of those 12 games they played this month. Now, the Grizzlies have had their best month of the season. They are 10-4 straight up this month. Half these games were played without Ja Morant. They won their last 2 games after a 3-game losing streak as well, too. So you have to give them props for that regard. But they also did pretty well to start off the month because they had a nice – little streak to start off the month. They peeled off their first 3 games. So, you know, when you start putting everything together with this team as well too, they just had a hell of a month, to be honest with you. Okay. And that little 3-game losing streak is pretty much has happened here at the end of the month, but that's expected. You know, it's just expected. So it is what it is. All right. So you have that. Then you're 9-5 against the spread. And then also, their over and under is even. So they have that working out for them there. So the Grizzlies Lakers, this looks to be a really good game tonight. Very important game for both teams as well. I think it's a little bit more important for the Lakers because the Lakers are trying to get back to 500. They're 17-18 right now. Now, as I said before, the Lakers kind of messed up that nice little stretch where they had won 8 out of 12 games. Right now, since that point, the Lakers are 9-8. You know, I said they were 8-4. Now they're 9-9. Okay, since in their last 18 games. So the Lakers, they have to get this thing together and get it together fast. And I think that last night, that was a good chemistry win. That was a good I trust you, you trust me win. And we got to be in this for the long haul. This is not a sprint. This is not a marathon. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Okay. So there it is. Lakers tonight. Grizzlies game starts at 4:30 Pacific time. So you guys be ready for that. In the Midwest, especially Southwest, and Central time frame games always start about an hour early to be kind of in flux with the East Coast time, but you're an hour ahead. So there it is. There it is. State of the Lakers. All right. So we move on to our next group, and that's going to be the NBA Wednesday night. And NBA Wednesday night, always fun. We have ourselves our first game up for tonight is going to be this one. It's going to be the Knicks and the Pistons. The Knicks and Pistons just met up about a week ago, to be exact. And going into this game tonight, you have a 16-18 Knicks team, and then you have a 7-25 Pistons team. The Knicks have won their last 3 out of 4 games after starting the month off 2-7. So they've been good the last 4 games. You know what I mean? They've been playing really good basketball because they got off to a torrid start this month, a terrible start, to be honest with you. And then they are also 7-6. They're 5-8 against the spread and straight up. And then also when it comes down to the over and under, they went over in 7 out of those 13 games. Now the Pistons, on the other hand, they've been absolutely struggling all season. So this month really is kind of just what their season's been like. But this might be one of their worst months of the year. They're 1-10 straight up in the winter, straight up in games in December. But one thing that is working out for them, they still are getting better the money on the spread, and they are 5-6 on the spread. Yeah, it's a losing record, but it's good for a bad team. Okay, so you have that. And then you have the over under, and this is a surprise because the Pistons had a lot of unders to start the year off. They've actually went over in 8 out of their 11 games this month. So we have that. And then when you look at it, knowing that you got a lot of overs going on this month, but you know the Pistons don't score as much as you would like them to. And the last time the Knicks played them, the Knicks only gave up 91 points. So, you know, I think the Knicks take that into high regard. They know to lock it up tonight, you know, and play the Pistons like they're the 1987 Celtics. So it is what it is, you know what I mean? So pretty much it's going to be it could be a game that surprises you a bit tonight, but I don't see that happening. And also for quick notes, that game was on the 21st. That was last week, to be exact. Literally like a day ago last week. And the Knicks won that game 105-91 at the Garden. What I like here, I like the under. I think the Knicks keep things in check here, and they get themselves another big win over the Pistons, and they keep this game right where they want it, right where it needs to be. All right, so we move on to a East-West matchup, and this is another game that was played a few weeks back, and this is going to be the Clippers and the Celtics. You got a Clippers team coming in here 17-17. The Celtics are 16-18. The Clippers come into the game beating the Celtics on the 8th of December, beating them 114-111 at Old Staples. And now the Crypto, and the Clippers come in there 6-7 against the spread tonight. And then also just a quick note, they have dropped their last 5 out of 6 games as well too, and this is straight up as well too, being 6-7. Now when it comes to the over and under, they went under in 8 out of those 13 games. Now when it comes down to what it needs to be and what it's going to be, the Clippers are kind of in a spot where it's going to be where you don't know what Clipper team is showing up for the night, because you know they don't have Paul George for the next month and a half. So it's going to be a very, very tricky bag with the Clippers nightly. That's all I can say. You got the Celtics coming into this month struggling. They're struggling. I'll be honest with you. They're 5-8 straight up in December. They've lost the last 3 out of 5 games. But one thing working for them, though, is how they're playing against the spread. And they're 7-6 in that regard in the month of December. Now, when it comes down to the over and under, they've went under in 7 out of those 13 games. When I look at this one, I say to myself that, you know, this game really does – this is really a good bounce back spot for the Celtics, to be honest with you, okay? I think the Celtics are a team that really knows that their days are going to be better down the road. So I do like them at home tonight. I know it looks like it's a big spread, but it's the right spread. I think that the Celtics can easily win this game by 10 or more points tonight. The Clippers traveling back east and things. I know that they're going to play hard, but I think the Celtics, when it comes down to the final quarter, they're just going to take care of business and get a nice win here tonight against a very middling Clippers team. So we'll see how it goes, see how it checks out. Clippers, Celtics, live from the TD Garden tonight in Boston. All right, so we move on to the Spurs and the Heat. Spurs and the Heat. This is going to be a good game. We all know that this is a finals rematch. These guys played in the finals 2 years in a row. You got a Heat team coming in here 22-13. Spurs are 14-19. And let's see the numbers of why you would put. And yeah, I know that the Heat are kind of going to be down, and I know Kyle Larry's out, and I know Jimmy Butler's probably out as well too. But you know what? The Heat do show up, and you know what? When you have a team like the Spurs who know when to show up against really good teams, and then they might not show up against the bad teams. You know what I mean? It kind of is a weird situation with them, and they're not as good as at home as they've been on the road this month. So there's some things I'm looking at in this spot, and this could be a spot that presents high value. Heat 9-5 straight up this month. They've won their last 4 games in a row. Now, when it comes to the spread, they're 6-8 against at 6-8 in that category this month. And then they went over in 7 out of their 13 games with 1 push. And the Spurs, on the other hand, 8-6 straight up this month, their best month of the season as well too, and they're in December, and so pretty much they've won their last 3 out of 4 games as well, and they've had some very good wins this month, beating the Warriors and beating the Utah Jazz. So they have that under their belt, and they're split when it comes down to the over and under. Spurs, I think that they'll probably overlook tonight and forget that they're the under 500 team. But I think all in all, what happens tonight is that the Heat come into this game and they get themselves an absolute monster win here. And I got them tonight as my dog of the day. And I know the dog of the day hasn't hit all week this week, but it did hit 2 days in a row to end the weekend. And so I think that we can go ahead and try to get that done today. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. I love the Heat today as the dog of the day. All right. So Heat Spurs. That will be another game that's going to be middle. It's going to be in the middle part of the schedule tonight. So it's going to be a 5 o'clock tip for that one. All right, we move on to our next game. This one will be a battle of the Thunder and the Suns. The Thunder coming off of a pretty close loss last night to the Wizards. The Suns coming off of a recent loss to the Grizzlies, losing that game by 1 point and losing to the Warriors on Christmas Day. And this is the first time all season. That's the first time in a while Phoenix has lost 2 games in a row this year. So I'm looking at it now, and it said, and from what I'm seeing here, I see that the Suns did beat the Thunder on the 23rd of December. Beating them 113-101 in Phoenix. Now, this game is back in Phoenix, and the Thunder this month are having their best month of the year as well. They're a 12-21 team. They've got 6 wins this month to 7 losses straight up, and they've won their last 4 out of 6. Also, this team is 8-5 against the spread in December. They've covered their last 6 out of 7, and this team went over in 8 out of their 13 games. Now, catch this. This team did get beat by 73 points this month, and they're actually playing 500 basketball against the spread. Oh, wow. That's all I can say is wow. All right, so pretty much it is what it is. And then you have the 8-5 against the spread. As I said before, they covered the last 6 out of 7. And then, as I said before, they went over in 8 out of their 13 games. Now, the Suns, 8-4 straight up in December. They've lost 2 games in a row, as I already said. And then they are 5-7 against the spread this month. So they've been a money burner this month, not a money earner. And also, they went over in 7 out of their 12 games. So when you look at this one, setting up, easy call, baby, easy call. 14.5 to the Thunder, and Thunder are having a damn good month as covering spreads. So it's not hard. It ain't hard to tell. So let's go ahead, excel, and get on this 14.5 with the Thunder, and let's see if we can get that bad boy home. It is what it is. All right, so we move on, and we have ourselves a good old Northwest matchup, and this is going to be between the Blazers and the Jazz. The Blazers and the Jazz. This is a game that's kind of funny to me tonight. You got a Jazz team coming in here 24-9. You got a Blazers team under 500, 13-20. The Blazers had way bigger expectations than this coming into the season. That kind of just went out the window, though. I think that as you need to do, they love their head coach, but what they have to do to keep their head coach as their head coach, they got to get the toxic guys out the locker room. So it's going to be a while before we see the Blazers be a real relevant team again. But once again, they're another team that can be greater later because they have a type of player that can put them in position to do that. So the Jazz coming to the game tonight, 10-2 straight up in the month of December. They've won their last 4 in a row after losing 2 in a row. Before they lost the 2 in a row, they won 6 in a row. So that just goes to show you that the Jazz have just been on a good streak all month. So like as I just said, they've played 12 games and they won their first 6. Then right after they won their first 6, they dropped 2 in a row and they've won their last 4. So there it goes, 10-2 straight up for this month. But that means absolutely nothing when it comes to the spread. They're 4-8 and they haven't covered a game in the last 6. So it is what it is at the end of the day. Yeah, they've been the favorite, but they haven't been covering the game. The game has been close. So if you had them for any of those games, the last 6 games, you're pretty pissed off because you keep taking them on the spread, and they're already going on a nice little win streak as is, and you still want to take spread. So it is what it is. And also, this team went over 7 out of their 12 times this month. 7 out of 12 this month in those 12 games. So it is what it is. And you got the Blazers 2-9 straight up, 2-2 after the 0-7 start to the month. They're 3-8 against the spread this month, and then also they've went under in 6 out of their 11 games. So when I look at this one, I tell myself that I expect a scoring barrage from both teams tonight. I think that this is not going to be a defensive game at all. I think both teams get on and get after it and try to get themselves a nice win tonight. The Blazers are trying to bounce back because it's been really rough with the Blazers lately, but the last 4 games, they've been better. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. Jazz, Blazers should be a good one. I expect this game to go over. All right, so there it is. There it is. We move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into the Talkin Tickets. Now, with Talkin Tickets today, we have ourselves a good volume of bets for you guys. So up first, we have ourselves the Cheez-It Bowl. The Cheez-It Bowl, which is in Orlando this year. In the Cheez-It Bowl this year, we have ourselves in a pretty cool spot. I like Clemson today with the money line. They've been moved up to -140. As you guys know, when I did the preview, they were -115. And when it comes down to the first half, I have the over 21.5 in the first half. And then when it comes down to the first quarter, I got this feeling Clemson comes out firing. So I got them with the minus half a point first quarter. They have to be in the lead because if we're tied, we don't make any money. And then when it comes down to the team total, I think Clemson's defense is going to wake up today and have a Clemson-type game today against an Iowa State team that has a stagnant, explosive offense. So, literally, they can explode against bad teams, but they're real stagnant against really good teams. So that's where I'm going with the Cheez-Its Bowl today. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. Now, let's go ahead and move forward to our next game. And our next game is going to be another bowl game, and this was going to be the good old Alamo Bowl that pits the Pac-12 against the Pac-12 against the Big 12. You got Oregon going head up with Oklahoma tonight, number 16 versus number 14. So you have Oregon coming into the game +7. That's who I like. They've jumped up to 7 after being a 4.5 when the line opened up. Also, I like Oregon with the over 31 first half. I mean, not Oregon, but I like the total over 31 first half. Then also I like Oregon with the +145 first quarter. And then we finish up with Oregon 28, over 28.5 team total. So I need literally 30 points from Oregon today to go ahead and cash out that ticket. So the Alamo Bowl tonight, that should be another good game. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward to college basketball. In college basketball, all these games are tipping off at 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. I got Syracuse in the first hole, minus 15. They're playing Cornell today. I got Georgia, who's playing against Gardner-Webb today. Both these are home games for these teams. They should go ahead and tune them up just like they're supposed to, because it's a tune-up game. All right, so you have LSU, who's playing in a game that is looking to be the biggest game of the year already in the SEC. It pits a 11-1 Auburn team against a 12-zip LSU team. Both teams are ranked at this point as well, too. You have a 16th ranked LSU team going against an 11th ranked Auburn team. So this will be another really good game, but it starts off the SEC in a good fashion and form with 2 top 25 teams going at it today. Then you have Sanford in their good old rivalry with Furman. I have them today on the road with plus 10. And then I throw in Providence for their home opener in the Big East against Seton Hall. And this usually is a pretty good spot for Providence. This is a tough out for any team that goes to the Dunkin' Donuts Center over in Rhode Island. So pretty much I like Providence tonight. I like what I see here. Let's see what we can do with the plus 100. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. And then we have Merrimack, who's going to be in a spot that a lot of you guys should jump on right now, because I'm going to be dead honest with you. I don't like picking on teams, but St. Francis, New York is absolutely dreadful right now. They're not playing any type of good basketball. You know, the Brooklyn boys, but they're not doing much right now. So I like Merrimack in this spot. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how it shakes out. It should be a damn good game here. And you know what? 67-1. I like it. It looks good. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward to our next and final ticket, and that's going to be the NBA Super High Five. We have this at 41-1. As I told you guys before, I'm technically under 214.5 with the Knicks and the Pistons. I like the Celtics with the spread tonight, 6.5. Also like the Heat tonight with the plus 215 as our dog of the day. And then we have the Thunder here at plus 14.5, and we end up with the Jazz at over 228.5. So there it is. There it is. That is Talking Tickets for today. And pretty much I gave you guys a pretty good group to run with. So it is what it is at the end of the day. And I want to thank you guys very much for tuning into the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. I'm your host, the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And as I always say, if you got a hunch, bet a bunch. Always bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.